As a young citizen of India, armed with technology, knowledge, and love for my nation, with a vision of transforming India into a developed nation, I am joining Shobhit University. What about you?
Very good morning to all the participants from India and abroad to the international webinar series on open source digital technologies for self-reliant India. Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology Meerut, deemed to be university, and its centers of excellence, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Application, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application, in association with African Asian Rural Development Organization, ARDO, New Delhi, organized this weekly international webinar series on open source digital technologies towards self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Today is 85th edition of the webinar series. On behalf of the Honorable Chancellor, His Excellency the Secretary General, ARDO, Honorable Vice Chancellor, the faculty members of the university, and on my behalf, and as the chairman of, as Professor Emeritus and Chairman of Centers of Excellence, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, Center for Agri-Business and Disaster Management Studies, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Application, Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application, and Center for Health Informatics and Computing. Let me welcome all the guest speakers today of the webinar for a very important topic to be discussed: Fisheries Informatics Network Value Chain Business Plan for Fisheries Cooperatives to Attract Investors. I welcome our keynote speaker, Mr. Balasubramanian Iyer, Regional Director, International Cooperative Alliance, Asia Pacific. Mr. B.K. Mishra, Managing Director in charge, National Fisheries Cooperative Federations, Fish Cooperative, Mr. Aji. Mr. Bhargav from Vaikunt Mehta National Institute for Cooperation Management. Good morning. Mr. Satyanarayan Raman, Managing Director of Millet Mart. Good morning. Mr. Rajulal Dev Verma, Executive Director of the Tripura Primary Fishers Cooperative Federation. Good morning. Dr. Dinesan Cheruvat, Managing Director, Matsya-Fed, Kerala. Good morning. And Mr. Dr. Hema Yadav, Director, Vaikunt Mehta National Institute of Cooperative Management, Pune. Good morning. And Madam Nurjumoni, Program Director of UCO, Guwahati. Good morning. And it gives me great pleasure to invite all of you for a very important webinar. And I wish to inform the participants and the speakers that the university regularly conducts two webinar series, namely National Webinar Series on Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022, Atmanirbhar Bharat in Agriculture, on every Thursday, and we have completed 85 edition by last week. And International Webinar Series on Open Source Digital Technology towards Self-Reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, on every Saturday, and today is the 85th edition. And we invited experts from both India and abroad to talk about various topics for which the solutions are needed, and that has been well received during the last 84 editions. Today is the 85th edition for a special purpose. We would like to prepare a proposal on business plan for fisheries cooperatives to attract investors, to strengthen fisheries informatics network value chain. We have in India, we have about 22,000 primary fisher cooperative societies, which are being represented by Mr. P.K. Mishra, Managing Director of Fish Cooperative. And when I had a discussion with the Honorable Secretary of Fisheries, Government of India, about digitalization of primary fisher cooperative societies, he said that Professor Moni, he was the former registrar cooperative societies, Government of Tamil Nadu, is an IAS officer from Tamil Nadu cadre. He said that, I understand and appreciate, can we have a business plan for every fisher cooperative society? With that, we'll be in a position to have one pilot project every state, and that's how we should move about it. We have to attract investors with a business plan. I said that I will bring a business plan by interacting with the shareholders and stakeholders of the Fisheries Informatics Network value chain. That's why today's program. To give a background, Atmanirbhar Bharat, it is the vision of our Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, of making India a self-reliant nation, rested on 5 I's: intent, inclusion, investment, infrastructure, and innovation, based on 5 pillars, namely quantum jump in economy, infrastructure, one that represents modern India, system 21st century technology driven, vibrant demography, and a demand whereby the strength of our demand and supply chain should be utilized to full capacity. And Atmanirbhar Bharat in agriculture, during the third tranche of Atmanirbhar Abhiyan, the government announced 1.5 lakh crore as a booster, which included 1 lakh crore to agriculture cooperative societies, farmer produce organizations, and startups for boosting farm gate infrastructure, and 10,000 crores for formalization of micro food enterprises and for following cluster-based farming approach, and 20,000 crores for Prime Minister's Matsya Sambada Yojana to pay way for additional fish production of 70 lakh tons over 5 years. And agriculture sector is the foundation of Indian economy. And I also would like to quote the recommendations of the Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022 report 2018. The volume 12B talks about digitalization of Indian agriculture, which recommends 7 mission mode programs for total digitalization of Indian agriculture sector. I was the group chairman for the volume 12B, which talks about that digitalized agriculture, digital technology and innovation in agriculture, synergization of Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, and Startup India programs for transformational reforms in agriculture sector, digitalized agromet advisories and agricultural risk management solutions, digitalized agricultural resources information system and micro-level planning for achieving smart village and smart farming, digitalized value chain for about 400 agriculture commodities, digitalized access to inputs, technology, knowledge, skill, agricultural finance, credit, marketing, agri-business management to farmers, digitalized integrated land and water management system, and digitalized farm health management for reduction of farmer loss. It includes farmer health, plant health, animal health, fish health, water health, soil health, and environmental health. This health data alone, it represents $1 trillion data economy for the time to come, with artificial intelligence and big data analytics and blockchain technology can revolutionize the health informatics value chain in the country, which includes Fisheries Health Informatics Network value chain. And also this report, report talks about in volume 11 that need for development of a network of cooperative societies and automation of each cooperative society to facilitate governance and operational efficiency in the cooperative sector is good for rural India. With this, that even the Doubling Farmers Income Committee report also talked about networking of cooperative societies as CoopNet and the digitalization of each cooperative society as e-cooperative. We have 1 lakh primary agriculture cooperative societies, 22,000 primary fisher cooperative societies, and about 1.5 lakh dairy cooperative society. A value chain is important for the primary fisher or primary agriculture holder have to get remunerative prices. A value chain brings all the stakeholders engaged in the production system on a common platform to contribute their best while ensuring fair deal and transparency. And Fisheries Informatics Network value chain is very important. And today's topic is business plan for fisheries cooperative societies to attract investors. And in this webinar series, since 18th August 2020, we conducted similar programs to strengthen the informatics value chain in the agriculture. Farm to Plate, a one-stop agri-tech platform to simplify supply chain and e-commerce needs of food and perishable commodities. As a case study from Andhra Pradesh, that they have brought in fisheries value chain online. We had a talk by Dr. Vinay Kumar Chakraborty from Government of Government of Bangladesh. Diversification of fish and fisheries resource management and its challenges in Bangladesh. Role of agriculture cooperative societies in e-governance. And in that, we were lucky enough to have that addressed by Mr. Balu Iyer, and that time he was in US. And it's a webinar we conducted at 11 o'clock, and that time the time was there at 12 o'clock midnight. He was kind enough to deliver the talk at midnight from USA. And blockchain technology-based fishery value chain, integrated mariculture, aquaponics, and precision agriculture. MAPA biofarms for income revolution is a very new concept. Small-scale fisheries and their contribution to rural livelihoods, case studies from developing countries. Vision 2025 agriculture and allied sectors viewpoint. Fisheries informatics network value chain, a case study from Manja Technologies. National Conference on Policy Reforms to Access Skills for Agrarian Prosperity and Sustainable Livelihood Opportunities in Northeastern Region, states with special reference to Assam, subsectors, fishery, piggery, and the spices subsector. National level virtual roundtable discussion on reforms in fishery sector with a special focus on Assam. And developing sustainable fishery value chain for Andhra Pradesh inland fish for in northeastern region, doubling fish farmers' income through blockchain, Fisheries Informatics Network, blockchain project pilot in Lakshadweep, Tuna, and Bay of Bengal, Hilsa. We had a discussion. And inland fisheries sector, a primary concern, and agri-business management, emerging as an ICT-enabled value chain and potential scope for large-scale private investment through entrepreneurship startup. An invited talk, a special guest lecture titled Computerization of Primary Agriculture Credit Societies, Issues and Challenges in the 55th batch of postgraduate diploma in Cooperative Business Management Program of Wamanicom, Pune. Fisheries Network Value Chain is the need of the hour. FishNet, which was initiated way back in 1995 when I was the Deputy Director General NIC, we gave an IT blueprint. It is one of the 15 informatics network for digitalization of agriculture. 2008, Department of Animal Husbandry, Dairying and Fisheries had a national workshop as to how to establish FishNet in the country. And today is the right time. And we have very potential marine fishing and inland fishing. And we got, National Federation of Fisheries Cooperative, State Federation, Regional Federation, District Federation, Primary Fisheries Societies, 21,741, and members are 33,53,115. Of course, we have a challenges in value chain, which we will discuss. And in order to discuss this one, and also to quote that Ministry of Cooperation has unveiled its plan to computerize about 1 lakh primary agriculture cooperative societies. Department of Fisheries, Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry, Dairying has also organized a webinar on potential and role of fisheries cooperative societies on 22nd July 2022. According to the Secretary of Fisheries, he said, I quote, with increased production and productivity in the Indian fisheries sector, the government is focusing more on establishing cooperatives to enable small-scale fishers to access institutional credit, quality inputs, transportation, logistic, and other services through collectivization. And it is very important. And in view of the significance of fisheries cooperatives in the country, institutionalizing fisheries cooperatives in the country assumes its importance. During my discussion with the Secretary of Fisheries last month, he talked about the need to have a business plan for a fisheries cooperative to attract investors. And with this background, Let us turn to address by our panel of speakers. To start with, I would like to request Mr. Balasubramanian Iyer is the Regional Director, International Cooperative Alliance, Asia and Pacific, New Delhi. He has got a vast experience, and his talk on 18th August 2020 on the role of agricultural cooperative societies and e-governance was very important, and it was a thought-provoking address, and he brought international experience to the country. And I would like to request Mr. Balu Iyer to give your keynote address to specifying how to go about the business plan for fisheries cooperative to attract investors. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Professor Moni, and good morning to you. Good morning to my fellow panelists, and good morning to all our participants. Thank you very much for inviting me and the International Cooperative Alliance, Asia and Pacific, to be part of your weekly international webinar, which has been conducted by Shobit Institute of Engineering and Technology, Meerut, in association with ARDO, New Delhi. It is a pleasure to hear that 84 editions each of the national and international webinars have been conducted every Saturday since August 2020. And Professor Moni listed out the very diverse and important topics which have been discussed, all centered around how you incorporate technology, how you incorporate information. And I think this is very much a needed discussion as far as cooperatives go. So my congratulations to the organizers for the dedication and unwavering attention which has been given to these important topics. And in particular to Professor Moni Madhuswamy, because he's been instrumental in identifying speakers, selecting topics, and ensuring that it's been continuously organized for the past 84 weeks. So it is no surprise that Professor Moni was recently conferred the Lifetime Achievement Award by the India STEM Summit. So congratulations, sir, on this well-deserved honor. In terms of background, the International Cooperative Alliance is a global body which represents cooperatives worldwide. We were established in 1895, and over 127 years, we have worked to unite, promote, and develop cooperatives. We are a member-based organization with around 320 organizations from more than 110 countries. And together we represent close to 1 billion people worldwide. And India is a very, very important member for the ICA, given the number of members and the number of cooperative societies and members which India boasts of. The Asia Pacific branch of the ICA was set up in November 1960 in New Delhi and was the first regional arm of the ICA. And over the past 62 years, the regional office has worked on issues relating to enhancing participation of women and youth, human resource development, of good governance, promoting research, innovation, among other things. The International Cooperative Alliance has given importance to fisheries from the very beginning. The International Cooperative Fisheries Organization, which is the sectoral arm of the ICA, was originally founded in 1966 as a subcommittee of the ICA's Agricultural Committee. Given the importance of fisheries, it became an independent body in 1976, and since then known as ICFO. From then itself, the Asia Pacific region has served as the secretariat for the committee. First it was in Japan and now in Korea. So the ICFO's mandate is to promote the development of fisheries cooperatives around the world, to promote trade, to share cooperative training and educational materials, as well as information on matters relating to fisheries. And in the Asia Pacific region, we have important members involved. For example, the National Federation of Fisheries Cooperative Association, or Zengyoren of Japan, the National Federation of Fisheries Cooperatives, South Korea, and the National Federation of Fisheries Cooperative, or FishcoFed, from India, all important, big and important members of the ICFO from the Asia Pacific region. According to McKinsey, which is the well-known global consulting firm, the world fish consumption is predicted to increase by 20% from 2016 to 2030, driven by global population growth, expansion of the middle class, greater urbanization, giving more people access to seafood, as well as to electricity and refrigeration needed to store it. And that's a result of the urbanization which is happening. Consumers also increasingly prefer healthy food choices, and many view fish as a good alternative to red meat. However, the challenge is that the industry is exerting unprecedented pressure on marine and freshwater ecosystems. And according to McKinsey, it now takes 5 times the effort in kilowatt hours to catch the same amount of fish as it did in 1950, because the targeted species are now in scarce supply. In India, fisheries is seen as a sunrise industry, as they contribute to more than 5% of agricultural GDP and are growing at 7% rate annually. As Professor Moni mentioned, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, has set a goal of 220 lakh tons of fish production and export to the tune of 1 lakh crore by 2025. And presently, the production is 140 lakh tons. So we need another 80 lakh tons in order to reach the 220 lakh tons target. And even more challenging is the export. Currently, we export around 46,000 crore, and we are expected that by 2025, it will be 1 lakh crore. So an ambitious target and a challenging target which has been set in front of us. On the plus side, India has vast and diverse resources of water, both freshwater and marine. The country has 14 major perennial rivers and coastlines which extend up to 8,129 kilometers. These provide ample opportunities in order for us to be able to do sustainable exploitation. Again, exploitation may not be the right word, sustainable definitely, but how we use these aquatic resources which are available to us. However, on the downside, what will be needed are development of human resources, business acumen, investment, efficiency, and productivity. And to list some of the constraints faced by the fisheries sector, one, people engaged in fisheries for their livelihood belong to the socio-economically backward communities, so that's a big challenge. So they come with, though they are lifelong fishers, in terms of technical skills, there are issues. They're also facing a decline in catch and depletion of natural resources, as I mentioned earlier, due to overexploitation. There is inadequate attention given to environmental conditions, economy, social and gender issues, especially women. Women play a very important role, but how much of attention is given to women who are involved in fishery, and how do we attract, again, as in other cooperatives, youth to be part of this fishery sector. And there is lack of institutional support, infrastructure, transport, finance, marketing is an issue, paucity of fund, and inadequate R&D. So these are all the challenges. So how do we move ahead in order to counter these? In India, as early as 1930, the fisheries cooperative movement began when the first fishermen's society was organized in Maharashtra. And as Professor Moni mentioned, the government of India recently had a webinar which focused on establishing more cooperatives to enable small-scale fishers to avail, as he mentioned, support for institutional credit, quality input, transportation, etc. We also have the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, which has been set up to enhance fish production and productivity, quality. It's looking at sustainability, technology infusion, modernization, and strengthening of value chain. And the Blue Revolution also aims to develop an integrated development and management of fisheries. And as mentioned earlier in the webinar which was organized, the Department of Fisheries is planning the creation of 720 fish farmers producers organizations, or FFPOs, with the help of the National Cooperative Development Corporation, which is playing a significant role by providing assistance to build share capital, establish units, service centers, etc., and the National Fisheries Development Board. Again, as was mentioned earlier by Professor Moni, there are existing 21,000 functional primary fisheries cooperative societies with around 33 lakh fishers in the country who are socially, economically, and educationally backward, but they are all organized into cooperatives managed by FishcoFed, represented here by its acting managing director, BK Mishra. While on the one hand, we are talking about establishing new FFPOs, we should also be talking about how do we strengthen the existing 20,000 plus fisheries cooperatives that are there. So we need to ensure that when we talk about business plan, we are not just talking about the new ones, but how do we do starting with the existing ones. Recently, the government of India or 1 year back, it started the Ministry of Cooperation, and the Ministry of Cooperation has come out with the draft bylaws for primary agricultural cooperative societies for public comment. And it contains various provisions to bring in professionalism, transparency, accountability. In that, under the definition of a member, you have fishers. I should say the definition of a farmer. It's mentioned the fishers, and it mentions specifically fishers. And under objective, it mentioned fisheries, shrimp farming, etc. So this gives us a good opportunity to ensure that our primary fisheries cooperative societies are also taken on under the ambit of the PACs and whatever plan is being proposed by the Ministry of Cooperation, because we fishers also figure as members. So that's something which we need to ensure, that fisheries is not kept separate, but also integrated when we look at the overall cooperative system in the country. Professor Moni mentioned about a business plan, and it's very important that we create a hand-holding mechanism and build capacity of member fishers from the inception of any cooperative or an FFPO. And it is not too late to do for existing cooperatives too. And so this can ensure development of viable and sustainable fish farming income generation model to bring out socioeconomic development and well-being of the fishing communities in a holistic manner. And one good example which has been set is the recent establishment of a dedicated business incubator by LINAC NCDC. It's called the LINAC NCDC Fisheries Incubation Center to provide hand-holding such as training, converting entrepreneurial ideas into business models, and giving seed money to new as well as existing business entrepreneurs. And so this fits well with this webinar, where the objective is to prepare a business plan for revitalizing fisheries cooperatives. So how do we also engage with these dedicated business incubation centers, which are focusing on fisheries, ensuring they develop, incubate fisheries sector. So that's another important aspect. The Ministry of Cooperation is also making a big push towards computerization of PACs and make them viable, make available computer infrastructure and internet, maintain book of accounts, customize ERP, etc. And again, I feel this should be made available to the PFCS. So we are talking about business plan for PFCS, incubation, computerization, so that we are looked at as part of the overall PACs or the primary agricultural cooperative system, and fisheries are integrated as part of it. Again, also while we look at the business plan, we also need to not just look at it from the fisheries perspective. I think that's important. How do you strengthen the value chain, and how do you improve the fish production, processing, and marketing? But we also need to look at, keep the fisheries community at the center and see also what are the other ways in which we could benefit them. For example, in Korea, they plan to support exchanges between city governments and fishing communities so that they Most of the produce from the fisheries cooperative, they go to the cities. So how do you engage between the cities, government, and the fisheries cooperative so that there is a linkage built where there is sourcing being happening? And they're also looking to see how you can develop community tourism so that people come from the cities and experience the lifestyle and culture of fishing villages. Uh, and this in turn helps to give more attention to how fishermen live, what they do, and how important they are. And tourism also contributes to increasing fishermen's income, because many of the fishing communities are on beach sites, which are again great tourist spots. So when we're looking at business plan, let's also not just look at it in terms of the business, which is important, but look at what are the ecosystem and see what are the other opportunities which are available there. And we also need to look at how do we, when we talk about fishermen, for example, when we talk about agriculture and when we talk about farmers, it's always the Kisan Bhai. We don't talk about the Kisan Behan. And the same thing tends to happen in fisheries, where we tend to focus the attention on men. How do we look at the attention, give attention to women who do a bulk of the work? And in Korea, for example, women are sent to get specialized education so that they have become much more capable and are able to take part, because women do much of the selling and the marketing. So if you develop their capabilities, then they will also be in a better position to do business. And this should again be part of the business plan in terms of how do you ensure education, the business part of education is given to these fishermen, women and men. And again, in Japan, what they do is, while the fishermen are men, are the members of the cooperatives, women and others are made as associate members so that they also have a stake in the cooperative. So the membership aspect also needs to be looked at. So these are things which we can do on the business plan side. And this particular webinar is looking at the fish informatics networks value chain. Mentioned before, the fisheries are mainly conventional, low-tech, intensive fishing and harvesting practices. So we need to see how we can improve productivity, how we can improve the infrastructure at the pre-production stage, production, post-harvest processing side, and the adoption of technologies, and also how we bring in skilled manpower. For if you're talking about information, if you're talking about digitization, we need to also look at, is there adequate manpower available in order to be able to do this? So if we do digitalization along the sector, along the value chain, it will allow producers to be able to efficiently enter and do business, both in fisheries and in aquaculture. And so some of the areas I think which work is going on and more work can be done is one in terms of data gathering and analysis. Again, knowledge is key and allows one to maximize production output, quality assessment, check price development, track historical trends, make predictive analysis, manage risk. And all this can be done by ensuring that we have a good data system, information collection, analysis, and being able to make predictions. In terms of, again, gathering data, the government of India is actively promoting drone technology. And in agriculture, many youth are getting interested in agriculture because they see drone technology as something exciting which they can be involved in, learn, and gain an income. So I think a similar thing can be done in fisheries also in terms of, in order to encourage youth to come in. In the value chain, we need to look at processing. How do we make efficient use of AI, robotics, automation of software? We need, because it can lower production costs and even reduce some of the labor. Though in India, we need to ensure that the employment generation part is there. But then on the production side, efficient processing can help. Logistics is very important to track, document to ensure products are in good order, labels and certification. Trading, how do we provide a digital marketplace that connects buyers and sellers? This is very important to make connection and ensure both the suppliers and the producers and suppliers are connected. And at the retail and food service level, mainly the consumer level, how do we ensure traceability? And this is becoming very important. Consumers want to know more about where their product is coming from, and till right from the place where it's sourced till when it comes to their hand. And as was mentioned earlier, blockchain, digital technology are all very important. So these are, I think, all important things which we can do in order to strengthen the informatics value chain. And uh, cooperatives are the means for are the model or ways to bring together people with limited means and to pool their resources and efforts to achieve much which they otherwise would not have been able to do. As individuals face lacuna in business of fisheries, from collection to storage to process to marketing to infrastructure, but then the individuals can be gaps can be synergized, and weakness that individuals face can be eliminated or reduced through ensuring that we have good fishery cooperatives, as cooperatives can enhance production, processing, storage, transport capacity, and backup finance needs. So in all this, technology can play a catalytic role in the transformation of fish production and trade, but it cannot do standalone uh, because it may not be fruitful. So we need a holistic approach, which, while it keeps modernizing production and sales as a core focus, it needs to keep the members' interest at the center. So while we are looking at technology, information, value chain, etc., we need to ensure the members' interest is kept in attention, and so that the more the members benefit, the more the cooperatives can grow, and the more the sector can grow. So in all this, I think this particular webinar, which focuses on fisheries information network value chain development, is very important and much needed, along with the business plan process. So again, I'd like to thank the organizers for organizing this webinar and making sure that it gets a diversity of views to see how business can be centered for cooperatives, but along with that, how do we incorporate technology to ensure fisheries cooperatives also come to the digital age. So thank you very much.
Professor Moni, I think you are talking in mute, sir. Please unmute, Professor Moni.
Thank you very much for your very impressive talk, bringing international experience and also giving the appropriate action plan as to how to go about it, that how to get integrated with a dedicated business incubation center in the fisheries sector for every cooperative societies. And we will look forward to get a long-term association with the International Cooperative Alliance and International Cooperative Fisheries Organization to get international experience for Indian fishers, for the time to come. And thank you very much for taking your time, Mr. Balasubramanian Iyer, Regional Director, International Cooperative Alliance, Asia Pacific, to join us. Please stay with us. Now, let me request Mr. B.K. Mishra, Managing Director in charge, National Federation of Primary Fisher Cooperative Societies. He is my long-term friend. We have been talking since 2004 that how to go for digitalization of primary fisher cooperative societies. He also retired, and I'm also retired. He's also associated with the Fish Cooperative, and it's the right time that how to bring back the importance of fisheries cooperative digitalization. And over to you, sir, for your chief address and with respect to business plan for fisheries cooperatives to attract investors. Over to Mishraj. Mishraj, hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Mani.
Is the screen visible?
Is the screen visible to you?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
The screen is visible. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mani. I especially thank you for thinking to have a webinar on fisheries informatics network value chain. I think this is the need of hour. I think that the Mr. Balu, Regional Director, ICAROAP, he had made my presentation very simpler also. He has spoken about the international perspectives of fisheries cooperatives and also in Indian context. And in that view, my views will be limited basically to the Indian context. In the subject you have mentioned fisheries informatics network value chain. You see, I see one part could be the fisheries informatics, another could be the network, another could be value chain, another could be the business plan. It will be all meant for the fisheries cooperatives to attract the investors. If we go back to the fisheries resources of India, we have vast resources in the marine and inland sector. This is the potential sector. Not only in marine and inland, we can have the brackish water sector also. Brackish water sector also, ornamental fishery sector also, cold water fishery. That means India is having vast potential in fisheries. And India is number 3 world production and number 2 in aquaculture production. India's fishery statistics, as you see it, the total fish production is 14.16 million tons, and we are exporting around 50,000 crores of rupees. We have the potential for 2025, 22 million tons of production. Then our productivity is only 3 tons per hectare. And what we want to focus at the post-harvest losses, that is around 20 to 25%. We'll have to reduce the losses, where the business plan will be very much required. What is the fund available for the fisheries sector? The fisheries sector is a sunrising sector. Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, total budget outlay is 20,050 crores rupees, both central government, state government, and beneficiaries, and FIDF, Fisheries Infrastructure Development Fund, 7,522. So this is the fund available for a period of 5 years, and there is enough potential for the fisheries cooperatives to tap these funds to diversify their business activities. You see, what you have said, particularly the fisheries cooperative structure, it is a pyramidal structure. You see, FiscoFed is the national level fisheries cooperative federation. There are 21 state federations, some regional federations, 132 district federations, around 22,000 primary societies, and around 34 lakh members. Huge potential of fisheries cooperatives in the country, and they have to be empowered in the coming years. There are now 2 ministries. One is the Ministry of Fisheries and Animal Husbandry and Dairying. Another ministry is the Ministry of Cooperation. So, as Mr. Balu rightly said, there must have a synergy. If these 2 ministries have synergy, then there will be a special focus on fisheries cooperative, like focus on the primary agricultural cooperative societies. Next, the focus should be on the primary fisheries cooperative societies. These are the structure in every state of the country. Okay, so these are the basic structure. If you go back to the number of state level cooperatives, there are 21 state level cooperatives, and their total business turnover, I had taken this data 2-3 years before, more than 1,500 crores of rupees, and they need immediate fund requirement of 500 crore rupees. If you look at the primary societies, we are about 22,000 primary societies. Even if you want to develop the infrastructure in the primary society, even they need 1 crore rupees, then the requirement of funds for the primary level cooperative society in a particular year will be 22,000 crores of rupees. Huge potential in fisheries cooperative sector. They have to be well funded through various schemes of the government of India. The role of fisheries cooperative, basically they are weak, they are not aware of their rights and responsibilities, they need guidance, training and funds. Basically they are from the weaker section, SC/ST community and other backward classes. They need funds for infrastructure, inputs and up-to-date technology. They want support, managerial policy support, financial support and all support at par with agriculture. The way we understand the value chain is a full range of activities which are required to bring product or service from conception through the different phases of production, delivery to final customers, and final disposal after use. Ultimately, the consumer has to be satisfied. There is a difference between this value chain and the supply chain. And value chain is more important than because you add value to your product and your consumer is more satisfied, where the primary fisheries cooperatives can play a greater role. Some examples of simple and complex value chains in fisheries sector. You see the input supplier, producer, wholesaler, retailer, consumer. I think like this input supplier, I think there should be a stage where the input supplier should be the fisheries cooperatives. They will be the producers, and most of them will be the wholesalers and retailers. Ultimately, this is a very simple value chain, and there is a complex value chain also, where the primary producer, then it comes to a small scale processor, intermediate trader, and finally to the local market, export market, wholesale market, and ultimately there will be niche markets, institutional customers, domestic mass markets. So we'll have to modernize fisheries. If we want to modernize fisheries, the 22,000 primary fisheries cooperatives shall play a greater role, and we will have to focus on them. So that is why the business plan is required. Investment may come from the private or private, but there is funds available with the government of India and the state governments also. That fund to be tapped by the primary level fisheries cooperatives by preparing sound business plan. The question is preparation of sound business plan. To prepare a sound business plan, there should be awareness training for the fisheries cooperatives at the grassroots level, where the FISCOPED and the state level fisheries cooperatives play a greater role. This is a complex structure, the process in fisheries value chain. This I have shared how the producer, then freshwater, then brackish water, because marine fisheries somehow it is saturated. We are a huge potential in freshwater and brackish water sector. So if we go for good processing, insulated transportation, proper branding, deep freezing, blast freezing, ultimately the customer will get the best fish after this processing and all that. Linkages for an effective value chain, there is basically two linkages: backward linkages and forward linkages. Backward linkages, it will be linking to the farmers or fishers who are the members of the fisheries cooperatives, and they will provide the seed, they will provide the feed, they will provide the medicines, everything. Then forward linkages, that will be required for your marketing and other quality control activities as per the GMP and other quality control standards as mentioned before. A look into FISCOFED and its contribution to bring efficiencies in value chain. Once value chain has to be established, and we'll have to have an efficiency in value chain, and this is the organization called FISCOFED, which is a national level fisheries cooperative organization working since 1980, and we are the global spokesman of Indian fisheries cooperative movement. We are also the member of the International Cooperative Fisheries Organization located in South Korea. We are also the member of the International Cooperative Alliance, and We had the privilege to represent ICFO as the vice president for almost 10 years. So we are also active not only in India front and in world front in networking the fisheries cooperatives, and the database what you see in the fisheries sector that has been prepared by the organization almost 5 years before, and we are updating the data every year. We are having our own offices almost in 9 states, and we have planned to open up offices in the country so that we can network, like the subject network, we will network all the fisheries cooperatives with the FiscoFed. These are the basically three activities we are focusing on: developmental or promotional, welfare activities, and commercial activities. I think this subject covers both promotional and commercial activities. Of course, when two things will be there, not only livelihood security, we will have income security, we will have social security, we must have nutritional security. So all these things will be given much more attention under the business plan, so that the fisheries for the cooperative to be sustainable in coming years, so as to achieve, because it is a sun rising sector. There has been target by the government of India. We will have to have 22 million tons of production. Not only that, we will have to have 1 lakh crores of exports, and that is possible. It is not that late, not possible. Now we are having the productivity, say 3 tons per hectare. We can produce 5 tons per hectare, no problem. And our export could be doubled also, no problem, because our export is comparatively in percentage term is much less. So there the cooperatives, because if you do this sort of analysis of the country's economy, it is a cooperative sector. If you do this sort of analysis, you will find that we have not tapped the potential of the fisheries cooperatives of the country. So that we will have to focus in coming years. These are under the value chain or this thing. These are some model fish retail outlet what we have made, and we are having 2 sample retail outlets in Delhi. We want similar lines. It should be all over the country. Maybe in Delhi we should have at least 100 retail shops in the pattern of mother dairy. I think the government should see that in all metropolitan cities we should focus on this. This is the mobile van, fish on a wheel. This could be part. Every cooperative, every primary fisheries cooperative must have a fish mobile van, because income security is there. It is not there in most of the states. Out of 22,000, I am afraid maybe 50% they are in bad shape. They are not working properly because they don't know about the availability of fund or which are the schemes available and all that. The thrust projects are National Fish Seed Farm, then FFPOs, fish producer organizations, because as Mr. Our RD said that FiscoFed should go for this conversion of the cooperatives to FFPOs. It is a very good idea. If we identify at least 1,000 primary fisheries cooperative societies, we can groom them as FFPOs also, because they have the potential. And if they could be developed in the pattern of FFPO, I think this cooperative will not have to organize any FFPOs in fisheries sector, because already there are cooperatives and all that. Then marketing business plan for marketing of imports, and then marketing of dried fish, ornamental fish, and all these things could be taken up. But every business plan must be for each cooperative, primary fisheries cooperative. That should be an economic unit. The purpose is that business plan is that to set up this primary society. It should work as an economic unit, and it should have sustainable business. And it should be linked to either inputs or production and marketing, and through value chain. If the product price improves because of diversification with good quality of final produce the fish, automatically the income of the society or income of individual member should go up. This is one seed farm, because in India we find that many of the hatcheries are now accredited, but quality seed is very much required. Then we have a training center, this modern training center. We must have training center everywhere in each state to organize training programs for the fishery sector, particularly on value chain or supply chain and production techniques and marketing and exports and all that. Maybe entrepreneurship, so that more and more youth can enter into fish business and all that. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah,
Yes, sir,
right.
you are audible.
Yeah,
Please continue, sir.
so these are the basic things. During my presentation, I said that to achieve all these things, these are very important things. I think 10-15 minutes time is not sufficient. Till then, what I want to say that two things for a cooperative, two things are required for be successful. One is professionalized management in the primary society. Most of the primary cooperative, fishery cooperative societies, they don't have the computer. Unless you have the computer, you cannot access to information. Number one. Number two, the person who will operate the computer should be computer literate. That means that should be a paid secretary in each of the primary fisheries cooperative. They are scattered in marine sector and inland sector. These 22,000 cooperatives will have to identify at least 10,000 cooperatives, or start with 1,000 fisheries cooperatives. We'll have to strengthen them, and they should get the benefit of the Pradhana Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. You are having 22,050 crores rupees for 5 years. Even if you say the central government share will be 9,000 to some odd crores rupees, the per year 1,000, how much money is flowing to the fisheries cooperative? That is a question still debatable. How much money? So if I say the state level cooperatives, we are having 21 state cooperatives, at least 4 to 5 fishery cooperatives having turnover more than 100 crores of rupees. Some of the fisheries cooperative at the state level, they are also exporting. And so some of the states are doing excellent work, and we'll have to do the proper mapping to strengthen the fishery cooperative movement, particularly northeastern region, eastern region, northern region, where the fishery cooperative structure is very weak in comparison to Western or the Southern fisheries cooperatives. So these type of things to be done, and we have done the study, we have done the analysis. I have gone to each state, and I have studied in depth. Lot of potential. The problem is the fisheries cooperative, they have many social innovations. They are poor, they are illiterate. So much fund flow go for their HRD, human resource development. Yeah, they should be properly trained and all that. So with this training and with this value addition, with this business plan, every society should get their share to groom itself. I think we can achieve all the targets. FFPO's target we can achieve, training target we can achieve, and we can achieve the target of production, we can achieve the target of exports if the fisheries cooperatives come to the forefront. And to come to the forefront, the government mechanism should push the fisheries cooperatives through the national federation and the state federation. The national federation cannot do alone, because it is under the Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act of the Government of India. Other state federations, they are under the State Act. Primary societies are under the state work. It is a federal structure. We can guide them, we can network them, we can advise them, we can organize the program through the state and the district level cooperative federation. Weak link is the district federation. There are few district federations, they have to be strengthened. So these are the basic things. And finally, we have a vision for 2025. We have a various minimum requirement like mobile retail fish marketing, because it will add to this value chain. Also, we must have ice plants and cold storages, not only at fish cooperate or the state level, it should be at the primary level. In Delhi, there is a big wholesale market where the cooperatives don't have any presence. We must have the presence, the cooperative must have the presence. All the water bodies in the states to be leased out on priority basis to the fisheries cooperatives on 10 years lease. We must have training center in the country. If then only we can achieve. We should have the car hatcheries. We will have the computerization of fisheries cooperative. We should organize training of at least 50,000 fishers every year. We are having 35 lakh members, so it will take 70 years. So, but there are many things we can set up. Yeah, 200 FPOs, even insurance of that, and we are an extension service. The cooperatives can go into the production, marketing, and the link will be there. Will be proper data, there will be value chain, there will be networking, and all the cooperatives can contribute substantially to the economic development of the country. Thank you very much for the present sharing, and I thank you very much. This will help my friends to contribute a little more so that we can strengthen this sector, and fisheries should be a focus area in addition to agriculture in coming years. Thank you very much. Thank you, Manisha. Thank you.
Much, Mr. Raji, for giving a complete SWOT analysis with from your vast experience. You said it very clearly. Business plan should have fisheries informatics, digitalization, education chain, and business plan. It should contain these components. And digitalization is very important. You said, Mr. Kondru, can you? Yeah, I'm okay. Fine. Mute it. And thank you very much. And we have to depend upon your vast expertise to prepare the business plan for submission to the Ministry of Fisheries, for the days to come. And we have been discussing since 2004. Now this is the right time that we should bring it to as a pilot project to have a business plan for fisheries cooperatives to attract investors. Thank you very much. And let me invite Dr. Hema Yadav, Director, Vaikunt Mehta, National Institute of Cooperative Management. Madam, over to you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Mani. I am so happy to be part of this network, which has such distinguished people. My greetings to Mr. Balu Iyer and MD of the National Federation for the Cooperative Federation. Much has been kind of briefed. Quite a big overview has been given by MD, Mr. Mishra, and he has given us the challenges, the issues, and how the business planning has to take place. So I will not be repeating the same things. I will just try to take it forward. A little bit about VAMNICOM. It's like Vaikunt Mehta National Institute of Cooperative Management, and being part of the a system where we are supposed to be giving the trainings, research, and education for the strengthening of the cooperative societies across the country. We have been doing this by giving the the trainings as per the requirement and the changes in the regulations. So we are focusing basically on the governance issues, as Mr. Mishra just brought out. The cooperatives are there, like 22,000 cooperatives, primary cooperative sectors in fisheries is there, but not all 22,000 are functional, you see. So the formation is just something different. Being able to sustain is just something different. So there are issues in governance, there are issues in management of a cooperative society. Some compliances have to go. There has been some in the technology. They have not been able to adopt the technology, and these kind of issues have made the whole cooperative sector not being so integrated with the markets. So I will just take a brief time to share a small presentation that I have. I will be in the framework of the time, and Also, that at Vemnicom we have a program on agribusiness management, and this program is a very interesting program wherein we get admission to the students of the agriculture universities who are specialized in horticulture, fisheries and dairy, livestock, and horticulture, food processing. It's a very good mix of students that I get, and they do internship by going to the field and by kind of getting associated with the corporate. So they bring in a lot of knowledge at the field based, and they have this summer internship reports with them, which are kind of used by the companies for devising a strategy. So one of my students has done a very good work on the RAS and the biofloc technology. So if he joins me, he'll be able to give a presentation. But nevertheless, I'll just try to share my screen. Just give me a few minutes, please. Yeah, so I will just make it full screen. Yeah, so I'll be talking about the value chain. As Professor Moni was saying, yes, that doubling farmers' income was a big kind of a report that has been produced, which covers so many aspects, you see. So I was working on the report number 3 and 4.
Go to the first screen. Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, I'll go to the first screen. Okay. Yeah. So this is my first screen. So I'll be talking about value chain, because in the doubling farmers' income, a lot of definitions went into defining what is a value chain. Most of the time, people would confuse supply chain with the value chain. So, demystifying value chain happens to be a part of the volume 3, where we sit down to do the definitions. And why the definitions were coming is because we should have a clarity as to value chain starts from the customer to the production, whereas the supply chain would start from the production to the market. So that was a very simple way of defining a value chain. So we know these figures because this has been said that currently it is 13.75 lakh metric ton. So this is under a lakh metric ton, the figures are. And we are targeting 22 lakh metric ton by 2025. And Ministry of Cooperation was working on, the India's vision plan for 2047. Like what happens for all these kind of figures in 2047, 25 years from now. So the figure was coming to the 78 lakh metric ton we should be producing by 2047. Now the overarching scheme that we have is the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, which says it's a cluster approach. And yes, the cooperatives are cluster approached, and aims to reduce the post-harvest losses and through the better technologies that can be brought in the whole value chain and the supply chain. And as Mr. Mishra also said, and Mr. Iyer also said, it provides livelihood. Therefore, this sector is very sensitive. Therefore, how do we kind of make it socially inclusive and technology adaptive and continue to bring the employment opportunities to this sector would be a great challenge while designing a value chain. Of course, productivity has to be increased from 5 lakh tons. We have to increase it. It's like 3 lakh tons, 3 tons per hectare to 5 tons per hectare. So there are proven methodologies for increasing the production. So now the inland fishery happens to be the important sector because, as it has said, out of 13 lakh metric ton, the 10 metric ton are from the inland only. Right, 9.72. It covers like 73.69% of production is from the inland. And this bar shows you that from 1995 onwards, we do see that the inland production has taken quite a lead and a peak in India. And the inland would comprise of the river fisheries, the lake fisheries, the pond fisheries. And each of these segments has a different value chain. You see the river one, the pond one, the regulation is also different. Sometimes the river fishery falls into the Department of Fishery. You have to take the license. So everything has to be set up from the governance management perspective also when we're designing the value chains. So this is about, so I'm here discussing about the inland fisheries. And when you talk about this whole inland fisheries, I have said that 70% comes from the inland, and we have to increase it 2x from the current level. So what we are focusing is on the interventions. The intervention would be to build the capacity of the institutions for developing genetically improved varieties, which ICR and the institutions are doing it adequately. Establishment of enough fish seed hatcheries and brood bank to ensure quality fish seeds. So here we have to intervene with the fishery cooperatives members as to how to manage these hatcheries. While the subsidy is there for having a seed hatchery, but managing a hatchery is also quite a challenging task to maintain it clean and very fine and productive. Establishment of small feed mills. Yes, the feeds are expensive. So feed are being expensive. The whole aquaculture and the fishery sector also has to absorb this cost. Embed the digital physical markets linkages. So you have the physical markets, the APMCs. Sometimes the APMCs have fisheries as a license produce. Sometimes APMC does not have a fishery as a produce that can be sold in the APMC markets. Nevertheless, a lot happened there in the e-markets and the digital scape and the agri-startups, which are kind of using the technologies to take the fish from the kind of a landing port to the forward. However, what I'll be focusing here would be promoting the technology like the bioflak and the RAS to intensify production. And this would be taken forward in my next slide now. And establishment of cold storages, the infrastructure happens to be a big challenge here. In order to kind of capture that loss that's happening in the supply chain, cold storages can be established, but managing cold storages also happens to be one area where training is required and some skill development is required for this. Then increasingly, if you are exporting, certification and eco-labeling in aquaculture is also something that has to be achieved by a cooperative society, especially in the marine sector and inland sector too. Establishing inland aquaculture authority to sustain expansion of inland fishery, because as you see, 70% comes from inland. So we might as well have this kind of a focused area here. Talking about the value chain, it's a very simplified version of a value chain, production, supply chain, processing, marketing. And I've laid down what are the problems in production, supply chain, and processing and marketing also, which will be, I think, enumerated by the speakers who will be coming. So I'm not talking much about this, but yes, the value chain integration happens to be a very important component. So you can integrate vertically, horizontally. You can create linkages backward and forward, but nevertheless, each process needs to kind of lead to the another process. So it is production, processing, marketing. Then you need to have integration between the processing and marketing, whether it's a dry fish or it is a pickling or it is something else that we are processing. Understanding of market and consumption needs to be there too. We were also talking about the technologies. Yes, increasingly the agri-startups have come who are working on digitization, traceability, and interoperable systems, interconnected, sustainable systems. And not that I'm talking only, but yes, agri-startups, if you kind of line up, which is a different matter of a webinar, if you line up, you would see that a lot of agri-startups have come which are working in this area. The next time, in coming months, we'll be seeing more and more people coming for the AI and blockchains coming into the supply chains of the fisheries, and use of data analytics and GIS data would be kind of used increasingly here. So here, again, stressing the need of the WEMRICOM, we need to, I do understand WEMRICOM as an institution also needs to have linkages with the other institutions, especially with the apex institutions like the Fish Cooperative, and we would be trying to give you start with having understanding of aquaculture systems to the members of the cooperative society, doing a value chain mapping and marketing design for the co-op societies, and entrepreneurship also. We can kind of provide the training. But before I close, the important point that Mr. Iyer made it was, what about women's role in the fishery cooperatives? So what happens is when you get registered, if a husband is a member of the primary cooperative society, the wife is not. Either one of them is a member. But we all are aware of this, that what is the role that the woman plays in the complete value chain of the fishery. But just because of, a husband is a member, the woman is not, the woman would not be getting the advantages as a member of the cooperative society. So that also needs to be looked in. Increasing participation of women in the value chain would be a very justifiable way of looking into this. So now I will just take over to the next part where Mr. S. Bhargav will take over a little about the technology part that we would like to disseminate. So I'm just finishing my presentation here and starting the another presentation. I think would that be okay, Professor Mani? I still have 5 minutes now.
Okay. Please.
Yeah, so I will just thank you.
Mr. Manish, can you connect Mr. Bhargav?
Yeah, he's there. He's there with me. He will just share the screen with me only.
We have a limitation of 10 people in the studio. So
yeah, I'm aware of this. Yes, I'm aware of this. So I will just give me 5 minutes to for him to kind of log into my system and start this thing. Just a minute. We'll now start from here.
So, it is very nice, Madam Dr. Hema Yadav, to give a complete widespread, opportunities to have an agri-business management aspect in fisheries value chain, and you brought best practices, and with the since you are from the National Institute of Cooperative Management, and with your strong support, we would like to prepare a strong, feasible, sustainable business plan for a fisheries cooperative societies for the country. Mr. P.K. Mishra also very rightly said it that the 22,000 primary fisher cooperative societies, why can't we have a 1 crore plan for each cooperative society? It's very important. Please.
Our student is taking it over. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. So, sir, as Balu sir and Mishra sir has said that our country is currently standing at 14 million tons production in fisheries, and by 2025 our aim would be to reach 22 million tons. So in this case, we have very unique technologies which have been practiced in other countries, but as of now in India, we don't have that much adoption level. The first technology I would like to discuss about is the recirculatory aquaculture system. This has a tremendous potential in order to elevate the production level of the fisheries. So first, I'd like to give a brief introduction about this recirculatory aquaculture system. It's a technology which has been used in where the land requirement is very less. So we can use it in a very short amount of land. And normally it's different from pond culture, because in pond culture we require a huge land, but all the farmers are not having that much land in order to cultivate their production. And also, if at all they're having the land, we can't assure that the land is fertile and for the production of fisheries. So in this case, recirculatory aquaculture system comes into play. It is a high density intensive culture of fishes in tanks. So the basic fundamental principle of this is that, first of all, when we feed the fishes, it will release the fecal matter, and it will also contain some part of ammonia, and the unused feed and the ammonia will pass on to the next level of filtration, that will be the mechanical filters, which is an important component of recirculatory aquaculture system. And these mechanical filters will discard the solid and the unused feed materials from the system, and then it will pass on to the biological filters, where the ammonia will be converted to nitrates using the process of nitrification, and then the nitrates will be safely removed from out of the system, and then the water level will pass on to the ozone and the UV treatment plant, and then the purified water will pass on to the aerators, and then finally to the fish. So finally the fish is receiving the oxygenated water in a pure form, and we can exchange like 10% of the water. We can exchange 10% of the water by discarding the remaining 10% out of the system and adding 10% into it. So these are some of the species which we can culture, like barramundi, cobia, silver and Indian pompano, tilapia, pearl spot and pangasius. These are the preferred species of fish which we can culture in the RAS aquaculture system. So these are basically the components of the RAS which a farmer would be requiring, like the insulated shed and a building and a store come office for feed and accessories for storing the feed, and also a pump house, which is essential component of RAS. And then grower tanks would be required. The tanks would be generally FRP tanks, that is fiber reinforced plastic tanks. These can be from 5,000 liters to 10,000 liters of capacity. And also we will be requiring some overhead tanks in this. Mechanical filters would also be required, along with some muslin cloth filters, and pumps and motors, sludge collectors, biofilters, which are very important because these are the ones which will be purifying the water. And automatic feeders are also required for feeding the fish wherever required. An aeration system for oxygen aerating is also required, and carbon dioxide trapper system is also required. Water testing kit, water supply system, bore well systems, and inputs such as seed, feed, additives, and supplements are required on daily basis. So we can see, like the cost breakup for one tank, setting up 100 cubic meter tank, we would be requiring approximately, a farmer would be requiring 7.50 lakhs. So it's a very huge amount actually. And when, if a farmer is thinking of cultivating in 4 tanks, then it would be somewhere around 25 to 24 lakhs. So we can see it's a very cost intensive process. So in this case, cooperatives can come together. Like if at all the people come together and start this recirculatory aquaculture system, which is having a tremendous potential in India, then we can do something out of it. And as Mishra sir has said that in every levels of backward and forward linkages, fisheries cooperatives should work on. So there is also another potential business in this, that the setting up part of this FRB tanks can also be taken up by the fisheries cooperatives. It is also having a good market potential. Normally, basically, the setting up of tanks is done by the local dealers who are not involved in the fisheries cooperatives. But if at all these fisheries cooperatives is taking up this setting up of tank business, then there's also a good income generation for the fisheries cooperatives. This is the economic feasibility for 1 year in aquaculture system, recirculatory aquaculture system. That is around 1.69 lakhs can be earned by a farmer for a one tank of 100 cubic meters. So this is a net profit which can be earned. If at all the farmers come together and start it on a big scale, then there is tremendous potential both for the production and also for the income generation. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. We finished our presentation.
Thank you very much, Bhargav and Madam Hema, for bringing in a very important presentation to give a very good input for today's conference. It's very important, and it's a very important presentation. Thank you very much, and this presentation gives, Mr. Bhargav's presentation gives a lot of input to our present thinking, and I think those who are operating at the grassroots level will be in a position to get benefit out of it. Thank you very much. Now next, let me invite Mr. Kundru Anil Babu, Chairman, Andhra Pradesh State Fisheries Cooperative Societies from Vijayawada.
Yep.
We would like to thank you very much, Kundru Garu.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everybody, sir.
Thank you. And briefly, you please tell us that about the business plan for fisheries cooperative societies to attract investors from the state of Andhra Pradesh. What is your views and how you would like to go about it? Over to you.
Sir, really, our Andhra Pradesh is having a lot of fisheries and aquaculture. We are doing a lot of, I think, 1 lakh hectares above prawn and 1 lakh hectares fish also, sir. We are giving a lot of for aquaculture. For prawns, we are giving full subsidy. For power subsidy also, our government is giving. At 1 rupee 50 pice, we are giving power also to aqua farmers also, sir. And we are doing, our CM Garu also has a very initiative to attract this fisheries and do some more business to double the growth every year, sir. Hello?
Please carry on. You are audible.
Sir. Yeah. Our government is very interested to update this aquaculture and prawn also, prawn fish and also, sir. We are having lot of 970 kilometers of seashore also, sir. We are having, and we are having 4 harbors, and we are going to construct another 9 harbors in our state. So our government is also very initiative to attract this fisheries department, to improve the fisheries department to a double digit. Every year we are trying to get a more volume, sir. This Pradhan Mantri Pach Sampada Yojana scheme also there, but everybody is not attracting. So somebody is having some negotiations. Really, actual fisherman is not getting more than 40% subsidy. They are not agreeing that subsidy also. But aquaculture farmers, this bioflak also very interested, sir. We are doing more, sir. We are trying from this year onwards only bioflak system. We will get good growth in for further years, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving this opportunity, sir.
Mr. Kondrugaro,
Sir, sir.
we would like to hear from you that is there any business plan available with respect to any primary fisher cooperative society in Andhra Pradesh? Hello? Your voice is not audible. Hello? Hello? Disconnected. Okay. Okay. I think he's got it disconnected. Let me invite Dr. Dineshan Cherwat, is the managing director from Kerala State Cooperative Federation for Fisheries Development Limited. Is the man who has operationalized many projects, and the very important one to note is that real craft. This is a registration of marine fishing vessels. I have been also associated from when I was in service, and he has done wonders. The work which they have done it in the Kerala state, I have been taken to the central government, and it was operationalized after the Mumbai attack program. And that is, it's a lot of work they are doing it. And we would like to hear from you, Dr. Dineshan Cherwat, that about the business plan for a fisheries cooperative society in the state of Kerala. If it is there, we would like to hear from you. If it is not there, how to go about it. Over to you, Dr. Dinesh.
Thank you, Moni sir. Really, I was enlightened to hear much from the earlier speakers, and also I still remember the effort made by you and your team in NIC for operationalizing the Realcraft, that software that was later adopted by the government of India. So, sir, coming to our Malsefed, as you know, we were very much successful in organizing our primary fisheries cooperatives to take up various activities. And now, as on date, out of the 1,000 primary fisheries cooperatives, 668 cooperatives have been affiliated to Malsefed, of which 350 are from marine sector, and around 200 are from inland sector, and 118 are women societies. And a few months back, exactly 3 months back, our honorable minister has organized a meeting of the successful primary cooperatives at our capital city, Thiruvananthapuram, in which 20 cooperatives participated. And the minister was, and we also astonished to see that some of the cooperatives, especially to make a mention of one cooperative society, that is the Nyarakal Nayarambalam Fisheries Development Cooperative Society from Ernakulam district. They are doing lot of things. Lot of things means from fish production, from fish auctioning to marketing and other fishery related activities, to other activities like running a supermarket, medical shops, and even jewel loans, and so many other things. Almost 10 to 20 activities that particular society is involved. And to add that, more and more societies are taking them as a best model for running a primary fisheries cooperative. Subsequently, we were organizing district level programs, and this year we have taken up an initiative we call the strengthening of primary cooperatives by giving some certain inputs in the form of technology or in the form of finance, like that. And but on analysis, we found that out of the 668 cooperatives affiliated to us, 200 are very active, having certain many plans. But 200 are active, but they are not having much business, and almost 200 are inactive. So we are developing as a plan to rejuvenate all the redundant as well as the moderately operating societies. Here, I would like to mention that now our cooperative societies, many of the cooperative societies have started up inquiring about our PMM as well, that is Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, in which there are many components that the inland as well as the marine societies can take up for developing their business plan. But as our colleague from Andhra said, in certain components, the subsidy is not attractive. I'll just mention one example, sir. Because in Kerala, our near coastal resources are almost saturated, the harvest is almost saturated, and we are not getting much more from our coastal waters. But there are scope for developing deep sea resources, and almost 625 deep sea vessels are currently from Tamil Nadu are currently operating from Cochin. But we don't have much the deep sea vessels, so we have taken up a plan for from under Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana for development of our deep sea fishery. But still, the thing is that the unit cost for that vessel is 120 lakhs, out of which only 40%, that is 48 lakhs, would be given as subsidy. Whereas for a better vessel, it will come around 155 or 160 lakhs. Anyway, that subsidy amount will be limited to 48 lakhs. So our many of our societies are not willing to take enough. So still other components in aquaculture, we have many inland societies. We have immense water bodies like Andhra Pradesh, but our inland resources are not tapped much. But now our societies, especially inland societies, are coming up with certain projects like cage farming, pen culture, recirculatory aquaculture system, ornamental fish like that, for which there are enough components under Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. And being most of our societies are dominated in marine areas, our major concern is with our marine fisher folk, for which we are immensely supporting with a lot of credit, with the association of with the support from the NCDC as well as from NBC, FDC and NMDFC, and from other Government of India and the Government of Kerala projects. We are helping them to replace their age-old vessels. We are giving subsidy to the engines, that is OBM's, outboard motor engines. We are giving subsidy to their webbings, like that. So we are immensely supporting our primary. Otherwise, they will be at the hands of the money lenders. So Government of India is kind enough to support through their agencies like NCDC, NMDFC, and NBC, FDC, and other agencies. And lately, the PMMSY would help in rejuvenating some of our marine societies. And regarding our federation's plan, we are very successful in achieving success in many of the areas. We have 9 divisions at our headquarters, in which our aquaculture division and the commercial divisions are doing well. We have 10 district offices and 10 commercial units. And the commercial units include net factories. 3 net factories are there, which produces fishing nets. And lately, we are getting demand from inland farmers for net cages, which also we are supplying. And our production capacity is almost 1,500 tons in a year, and we are almost near to achieve that. Still, it is a shortage of the demand. Only 45% of the demand in the Kerala state is met by the next factories from Matsya Fed. So we have ice plants operated in various fish landing centers. We have one export unit, Matsya Fed ice and freezing plant at Cochin. We are exporting frozen shrimp and other frozen products to more than 8 countries. And lately, last month, we have started export to Vietnam. And we have one OBM division which import and supplies outboard motor engines to all the primary cooperatives throughout the state. We have chitin and chitosan plant at Kollam district. We have two fish manure plants, one at Trichur and another at Calicut district. We are running 3 shrimp hatcheries, which produce and supplies fish seeds to our farmers as well as to the government schemes. And one interesting thing is that our aquaculture and aquatourism sector is very successful, and we are getting almost 1 lakh tourists every year to all these 3 aquaculture aquaculture farms, where we get a revenue of more than 2 crores from this sector alone. And last year our business turnover has increased to almost 584 crores, and out of which 3 crore 33 lakhs are our working profit from. So our commercial divisions and this aquaculture and other divisions are doing well, and which also sets a model for our primary cooperatives. We are enlightening our primary cooperatives to take up more activities like fish processing is a very important activity which has a very good future for many of the states. We are also concentrating and under Prime Minister Matsya Sampada Yojana also there is a component for fish value added production. I think its unit cost is 50 lakhs. So a moderate scale plan can be taken up by these cooperatives. So there are these many components, and our value already we have more than 7 value added fish products produced our Matsya ice and freezing plant at Cochin, in which many of the societies are also associated. The self-help groups from societies are producing these value-added fish production units, and we are also running fuel bunks. We are having almost 13 kerosene bunks, almost 10 diesel bunks, and now petrol OBMs are also coming up. We are starting petrol bunks also throughout the Kerala coast and all coastal districts. So all these activities, I'm very proud to say that last year we received the award of excellence in fisheries sector for the best marine quasi-government organization from National Fisheries Development Board in 2021. And now thinking regarding the digital technologies in for our cooperatives, though Matsya has started computerization in early 1991, is one of the premier organization Kerala state to have its all the head office and regional offices fully computerized in 1991-92 itself. But still, the networking and other digital technologies, for example, our for loan management, our HR management, we don't have a networking system still now. Only last month we have started an e-office system in our headquarters. For auction and marketing also we need some e-platform for which we have submitted a proposal under PMMSI. Still, we have started. We have approached a startup through our startup mission in Kerala state, and they have started the work. So that our primary cooperatives who are involved in fish marketing and auctioning will be much benefited, because in one district they don't know what is the price of the product in other districts, so they are not getting the expected value for their catch. So once this web portal and the app is ready, every day at any moment we get the real time data, the price of fish in various fish landing centers and various base stations in different offices. And for commercial divisions, we don't have an inventory management system so far, which we are finding it very difficult to manage with. So we have entrusted another agency for operationalization of an inventory management system to be functional. It will be functional by another 4 months. So this digital technology for development of this the activities of primary cooperatives as well as for the federation is very essential, and our government has taken up this issue as a very important one, and we are going through it. And this is what I want to say briefly, sir. And on Tuesday, NFDB has organized a meeting at Hyderabad to discuss all these issues, and I hope for this value chain and a business plan for fisheries cooperatives. We will be getting much support in coming years. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dinesan Cherwat, for your wonderful presentation. And Mr. P.K. Mishraji is sent a message that the Matsya effect should be replicated throughout the country. The Matsya effect model should be replicated throughout the country. Thank you very much, Mr. Mishraji, and also
Thank
Dr.
you,
Dinesan, for
Mitra
your,
sir.
and it is very wonderful presentation. But I would like to request you that with your vast experience, you've got a lot of commercial units and so on and so forth. Let us take one inland primary fisher cooperative society and how to prepare a business plan for them and a value chain for that inland fisheries cooperative society. And my request is that let us work together to prepare such a business plan for an inland cooperative fisheries society to bring in a complete value chain. That will be very nice because you have done a lot of success and you made it as a complete commercial operations, and a lot of innovations you are bringing it. So this is my request. Thank you very much. Please stay with us, and let me
Thank you, sir.
invite Mr. Rajulal Dev Verma, Executive Officer of Tripura Primary Fisher Cooperative Societies, to tell us that how to develop a business plan for a fisheries cooperative to attract investors in the state of Tripura. If it is there, you please give it. If it is not there, and please tell us as to how to go about it. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Thank you, sir. Once again, respected Professor M. Moni, sir, and of course, my mentor, and of course, sometimes I call him Guru also, our B.K. Mishra, sir, and Babu Iyer, sir, and of course, the organizer for giving me this opportunity in a elite group of intellectual. So I don't know how to thank you all because I have been given this space. A small man from a small state like Tripura, since we are also part of the nation for the cooperative movement. So thank you for the privilege. And then when getting opportunity to speak in an elite group, I do not know how to share. And then, of course, like we are not our federation in our state in Tripura is not that big, like Matsya Fed, what Dr. Dinesan have all this share. So we are not up to that position. But then, however, what he has shared, we can take back home as a replica as a model to learn a lot. So before I begin with for my topic, like I just want to share a small presentation with my PowerPoint.
Are you able to load it?
So is it visible?
No. Mr. Manish?
No, sir, it is not visible, sir.
It is
Not
it
uploaded till now.
visible?
No, sir, it's not uploaded till now.
Oh, I see. I try to load it, but then there is some problem here.
Okay. Well, you please forward to me, and Mr. Manish will operate from his system.
Okay. In the meantime, I can move ahead with the talk right now.
Yeah. You forward that presentation to me.
Yeah, I'm trying to forward it. There is some problem here with the net. I think there is some problem again.
Okay, so then can I
Anyway, let
revert
me
back?
continue.
Okay.
Okay, anyway, let me continue. Today, I'd like to share with the value chains and fishery of the northeastern state of India, with a special reference to Tripura and the role of Fishermen Cooperative Society. Well, it will not be a justice if I don't share at a glance what we have in our state in Tripura. Now, Tripura is a very small state in northeastern state, so let me share more, giving more emphasis to Tripura. Then you can have a clear picture of the entire northeastern state. Tripura have a square kilometer of roughly 10,491.69 square kilometer, and it has 8 districts, and the population is very less, that is coming to like 36.74 lakhs. Now the fish eater, I would say the consumption rate of our state, based on the 95% fish consumption, we can calculate it. It comes to around 35.41 lakhs. Let me again remind that our state is a fish eater and a fish lover. So we have a good consumption rate here. We have kept it to 95% fish consumption rate. Now, the demand of the fish, the nutritional demand of World Health Organization at the rate of 11 kg per capita. If we calculate it that way, so the demand comes to like 63,738 metric tons.
Yeah. I think Mr. Rajulal is having internet problem. Can I request Madam Nirjumoni to join?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes.
Your internet connectivity is is not there. You join later as soon as it comes. Hello.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
there is some problem today. Okay, wait, no problem. I will go with another speaker, and then you please join as soon as it is ready. Thank you. Okay, sir. Please, let me. Continue. Yeah. Okay. Let me invite Madam Nirjumoni to talk. She's the director program. ECO. She's working with an Fisherwoman Cooperative Society. Madam Nirjumoni, over to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, Professor Mani, for giving me this space to speak out about my dream cluster. Also, I'd like to thank all the experts. So I could learn many more things from you, because I am not a fishery sector, though I have a dream to have a very strong women cluster. This I want to create an exemplary women cluster in the state of Assam. Let me take you to my dream cluster. Yeah, I'm going to share my screen. This is yeah. Can you see my screen?
Mr. Mani, no, it
Can
is
you
not
see?
visible.
No, ma'am.
It's not coming.
Yes, is it visible?
It's not visible.
Okay, let me see. Let me share. This is share, then slides or share screen, right? So I'll have to go to
Yes,
share
yes.
screen. And
Mr. Manish, can you help her?
Ma'am, click on the share, click on slide and upload from your computer. That's it.
Yes, a share screen sharing is okay.
Don't click on the screen share. Click on the slide, the first
Okay.
one tab, and then
Yes,
upload
yes.
from your computer.
No, no, yes, I have done,
No, ma'am,
and
it's not
then
showing
maybe
here.
this
It's
is
not
coming.
showing
Just
here.
cancel or share is coming. Okay.
Let me do from my side. I'm doing from my side. Hello.
Okay, okay, okay. This is not coming. I don't know why it's not coming.
Just what I have. I'm loading it from my side. Mr. Manish. Mr. Manish. Okay. Good. Now,
Okay.
is it visible?
Yes, it is visible to
Okay.
me.
Now I'll
Yeah.
control. Okay, you control.
So this name of the cooperative society Sambhavati Minpalan Samabai Shamiti. It was from this 1.5 year back. It is in a Mayong block, which is around 60 kilometer from the Guwahati city itself, and situated in Morigaon district. Morigaon district is one of the highest fish producing district in Assam. There are a lot of scopes. The whole district is like a village, you can say. We have more, like around 655 villages in the district. Okay. The next slide, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my cluster. So you have seen in the cluster, this every woman have a like kind of placard. Actually, this is a we have started. They are numbering their pawns actually, and writing their name. So actually, I'm very proud of to share this thing with you because it took us lot of time to motivate their counterpart, because fishery is a mostly the male dominated structure sector. So that's what I want to say. It's a structural inclusion of women in fish sector, and it is a cluster of 200 small fish pond farmers and with 761 hectares of land. You know, in the state of Assam, there are around 77,250 hectares of land where this is for the basically for the fish pond. In most of the houses in Assam, you'll find either in a backyard or the frontier pond, where normally they use this pond for fish cultivation, and some of them for the personal consumption, and some of them they sell these fishes to the outside the market. But this is a very high possibility in the state of Assam. These potential sources are not actually uh, utilized, though. We have a scheme of in Assam, Ghare Ghare Mas. That means every household should have the fish pond, and through yeah, but it's not very successful actually. And that's what I thought of. Let me try with this women if we can make it successful. And I can say this is the only fish women cluster and fish cooperative in the state of Assam. Yeah, next please. And this is the structure actually. You see, we have formed 80 producer groups. It is like with 25 members, and in between we have formed a planning committees actually, because this cluster is covering 6 gram panchayats. So all the time it's very difficult to go this all fish farmers to reach the cooperative. So in between we have created a system so that they can come and they can plan about their clusters. This is the structures. And apart from that, what we have done, we have developed a functional bylaw, so that how this cluster will function, what is the role of this cluster towards this each and every structures, and what's the role of planning committee, this and that thing. That's why we have developed a new thing. Apart from this cooperative bylaw, actually we have developed this functional bylaw. Most of the time we have seen through my experience, like more than 27 years of institution building, I am one kind of pioneer in the state of Assam to Women Federation. This I have seen this flow of information, and these people don't give time on institution building. Sometimes because of that, actually it fails. Many a times we think that market is an issue, but if you have the market, because in Assam there is no dearth of fish market. We have the market with the shortage of fish in the market. All people in Assam, they like this live fishes actually to eat, but still we do not have a strong institution. That is why it's not happening. That's why we are giving it's in, emphasis on both the market side and also from the institution building side. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is the baseline actually that we have done into August 2021. Means what is the it's the size of phone, and then what is the present produces. These are the thing all we had done complete baseline in 2000 households, and also apart from that we have conducted 25 PRS so that we can understand the existing resources of this particular cluster, where we have just collected the information of the natural bill existence in this particular cluster, so that we can utilize those bills and also other resources to strengthen the clusters. Yeah, next. Yeah, this is the type of fish farmers. This is present productions. This is like that. But mostly they go for the IMC, and also some of the very few this air breathing fishes are like that in the clusters. Then these are the practices, and this is just don't want to highlight those things. You can see in the my this screen also the status of the cluster. Next. Yeah, what we have found, what are the challenges actually, and then other issues. The income at baseline, we have found 40,000 average, and these fish farmers, they have half bigas of land to like more than 10 bigas of land. Like means very less than 1.13 hectare to more than 1 hectares kind of pond they have actually. And production per hectare is very very less. This is only 775 kg. It should be like 3875 kg as per the statistics of, or as per the assumption of this government of Assam. And the cluster is there is a very lack of quality seeds, and they don't have the practice of cleaning bone. Actually, they are not doing it in a very scientific way, and availability of feed is a very good constraint in the state of Assam. Most of the time feed comes from the outsides, and poor marketing channels. They have the middleman, and also they have some fate, this particular cluster, no, why this particular caste people only go for selling fish and something like that. So that's why they are getting sometimes very less price. No, they depend on the other caste people for selling fish. It is like that. And then they don't have this kind of know how to manage the fish health and diseases, all these things. They don't have much idea, and this cluster do not have like access to government schemes and policies. Even they don't have the idea actually, and there's no storage facilities, and lack of post-harvest knowledge and technology. These are the challenges in this particular cluster. So as an organization, we are trying to educate these people. Just last 1.5 years we've been trying to educate these people or to disseminate knowledge on these issues actually. Next. So expected production after adoption of scientific rearing that we are expecting, this is if they sell 150 rupees per kilo, this is the average fish price in Assam. And at least if they present production, it's like no this is the amount. Actually you can see this it like 84 lakhs 55,250 rupees. This is a present status. And if they go for the scientific peak rearing, no, there this will be enhanced to, you cannot imagine, this is like almost 44 years actually. It will enhance up to that level. And input cost, if I calculate as per the government of Assam calculation, and also I had the discussion with some fish experts in Assam today morning itself, it's around 2.50 lakh we'll have to spend for the per hectare for the input cost and other like feed and all these things. So this is the cost like around 19 share. Then if we just immediately if I calculate, this net profit will be like more than 25 years. So average income of the farmers after deducting the input cost, it will be like 1,26,085 rupees, which was earlier at the baseline, it is like 40,000 only. Yeah, next slide, please. So requirement for the cluster, of course, I have added few things. I have very quickly prepared this cluster in the morning. Actually, it's not a kind of a business plan as you people are all expert are expecting. And this is the total fish production in like this. No, and since we have a lack of seed and feed, so that's why we are planning to have a kind of hatchery unit in the cluster, which will cost around 20 lakh. As per the government of Assam statistics, of course, I have not calculated much at right now. This the means in context of present price rate in the market, and then HR and other costs to maintain the hatchery, and this is for the first year, it's around 20 lakh, because these people will have to be trained also, and training costs around 10,000. Apart from that, actually I have calculated for this irrigation pump and then fish harvesting net, which is very much required. We have been trying with different IITs actually. For women, it will be very difficult to the grab the existing fish net, though, so we can just develop the small technology so that it will be easier for the women to grab the fish net for the harvesting, because ultimately if we do not come up such kind of technology, just doing everything by men last moment, then we'll have to leave it, this women have to leave it this in the harvesting part. And then definitely then again it will go to the male part, and no, since I am not saying that male should not be involved, but it's a dream, no, too, so everything will be managed by women. So then like branding, marketing, those, and also if we can have a feed center in this year, then I can just I'll calculate another 30 lakhs almost once year for particular clusters, because these women already cooperative have got more than 1 hectare, almost 1.5 hectares of land from the community, where this hatchery, it will be possible to establish the hatchery unit and also one feed center at least. So that will be a great help for the farmers, and also they can just all digital kind of data management thing if they have a computer center or something like that. So that's why I'm calculating another 30,000 here. And then one more thing that's we are introducing here with these women, that this is peer monitoring system actually, so that this whole cluster, it will be a responsible cluster for the fish farming. And so recently I had a discussion with this PGS India director, if they can include this aquaculture in the PGS system, which will be very much possible for the means pond aquaculture. Though, so already we have prepared a note, we are going to submit this to PGS India. So if they allow us, definitely we'll introduce this PGS system, PGS in this particular cluster. So already we are on the process of developing this kind of tools where it will women can easily understand actually. So that's, I have already mentioned that we have developed a peer monitoring tool for that. This is something else that I wanted to. Yeah, the next, please. Yeah, this is a calculation just already I have mentioned. That's if I can manage only the hatchery unit itself, this this women will be able to save at least 17 CR for the seed. So that will be a great business for the women, and this also Recently, our Honorable Chief Minister of Assam, he has declared that this this Guwahati will be extended up to Jagirud, and this cluster is fortunately this is around 6 kilometers at a distance from Jagirud. And also, perhaps you have heard this Jagirud has a high. This is one of the largest Asia's dry fish market. So we have an opportunity to connect this cluster with the market, and also if we can create this exemplary cluster, it could be possible to replicate this cluster in Assam, especially with the, I'll say this is Assam State Rural Livelihood Mission, because there are a lot of women are associated with Assam State Livelihood Mission. And also, being a lady, I want to say, since I've been trying for this cluster since last 4 or 5 years, and then our director, our organization is very much supportive to go, allow me to go for the cluster. And then we have a dream to make it as an aqua tourism cluster and as a training center for women, especially for women, where they can get the all practical learning from the ponds. They can visit the area. There are a lot of scopes actually that we have collected, or we did the mapping of this cluster while doing the PRA in this particular cluster. So thank you very much. Thank you, Miss. My next slide is on thank you only. Yeah.
Sir, you are muted. Kindly unmute.
For bringing out a business plan for your cluster. It is very much pertinent for today's program, and all of us, since ICO has signed an MOU with the Soviet Institute of Engineering and Technology, and we will join with you to prepare an appropriate business plan to strengthen your cluster program. Thank you very much. Now,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
in connection with this, I would like to, I think Mr. Satyanarayana Raman will be able to take from you what you have left, and he will be in a position to give you, that how your cluster can be linked to international trade. Over to Mr. Raman.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Mr.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Professor Moni, for this opportunity, and thank you for the rest of the panelists. Yes, because of the time, let me be very short and crisp to the point. Taking from Nirjimoni Madam's presentation, this is a wonderful thing, Madam, where you have given the entire costing, okay, for putting a business plan. What I would like to add on top of that is, see, my focus is fully going to be on the quality aspect. As you said that even in your Assam, people have a lot of issues on the quality, especially on the pond regarding the cleanliness, where there are diseases for the fish and all these things. So I would take it from there, and I have a presentation where I would like to share, and I would like to correlate that with how the quality aspects can be brought into the business plan as well as into the implementation. Okay, that is how I'm going to take this presentation. I'm just sharing my screen. Please let me know if you can see the screen.
It is not visible. It's coming.
Right. Thank you. See, my name is Satyanarayanan, and my background is I have worked for 20 years in software.
You can hide that last line. Hide. Hide.
Oh, hide.
University.
Okay, yeah. Right. So I worked for 20 years in top IT consulting organizations like Accenture, Wipro, and what you saw. And I have implemented world-class top CMM level 5I quality management process for various industries in the world. I have lived in different parts of the world and in all the metros in India. 5.5 years back, I started my entrepreneurship journey, and currently I am running three companies, and this is one of the company, Millet Mart Ventures Private Limited, and we have signed MOU with the Shobit Institute of Engineering and Technology. Our vision and mission is to create a powerful agri-food value chain globally and ensure Indian products get good market share. That's our vision. And our mission is to design a uniform quality management module which can be deployed at a reasonable cost globally. See, these are our two innovations. We have these two patents. The first one is the food trust. The food trust, where we have developed a framework based on the highest level of quality standards, which is CMM level 5I, and we have mapped that into the agriculture food processing industry. And this has been reviewed, recommended, and approved by NABL accredited company called BMQR, Breakthrough Management Quality Registrar. And now we have started going and putting this food trust in various food processing industries, and able to increase the value of their product in the global market, and helping them both in the forward linkage with the export market as well as backward linkage with the farmers, so that these people get the consistent good grains from the farmer, and where the profit is also being shared back to the farmer. So this entire thing is also helping farmers to increase their profitability. So the same model can be adopted into the business plan of Nirjumoni Madam, where I'm going to tell it in the next slides. The second innovation that we have is the global agri value chain, where we are able to address the concern of the global buyers, where different countries, when we talk to the buyers about the value added products from India, agricultural products, processed products, they say, what is the traceability? They wanted to know the source. They just don't believe the product, but they wanted to know where it is coming from. So for that, we have developed our own blockchain, where it tells where is the source and then where it is processed, what are the quality parameters involved during processing, during packing, and for the final product. So this gives a sort of a comfort level to the buyers abroad, and slowly this concept also started getting into Indian buyers here. Okay, there are a lot of food chains and companies to whom we have started setting up this particular platform to them. I have so Professor Moni and myself were discussing sometimes back. So since we have this platform, why don't we try to map this to the fishing industry? So we did some homework back, and then we have come up with this proposal. And the study which we have done globally on the cost of quality, because of the quality, what is the damage this has done to the world? 20% of the seafood samples worldwide are mislabeled due to fraud or human error. So mislabeled. Okay, so that's the main thing. That's an important thing. Next is 35% of the seafood selected from European countries, when they are transported either by air, they had higher temperature than the recommended -1. So that means the process of controlling, measuring, monitoring the temperature, not just at the processing or at the storage, but even during the transport, is very, very important. Okay, so that because of that, 35% of loss has come. So up to 47%. See, for 4.7 billion pounds of seafood bought into the US every year is wasted due to unnecessary harvesting and production. Because unnecessary harvesting. So the harvesting and the preservating units do not have the right process. So that is why finally, when they are bringing those seafood into the US market, see 47% of food is wasted. See while we are making the business plan, look at the wastage of up to 47% when the quality process is not followed. But what we are recommending is that, see, from the overall cost which is required, see, 8 to 10% is what is the benchmark of the cost of quality. If you add 8 to 10% upfront during the business planning for the cost of quality and implement that during the implementation of this program, then definitely the return from the cost of quality is going to be 15 or 20%. I'll tell you one example. For example, the cost of manufacturing of a millet noodle at a factory is around, say, 30 rupees. The cost of quality on top of that for ensuring food trust as well as the traceability is 1 rupee is the cost of quality. The value for that, okay, instead of say the ex-factory price, which is say 30 plus 131, the value has the buyer is able to buy it at 35. That means more than 400% is the return of investment from the cost of quality. So while putting the business plan, ensure the suggestion is that, so let us also plan for the cost of quality so that the returns are higher later and we will not end up in any losses, which is shown in the figures here. Okay. So as I said, our solutions are, say, food trust with QMM. See, now our QMM, we have mapped that into HACCP model, hazard analysis critical control points, and we have identified the CCPs for various, right from the catch and till the processing, preservative, storage, transport, irrespective of whatever may be the supply chain model. Okay, whatever may be the model. So this platform can be plugged in to ensure that, so this can easily be fit into any business model or supply chain model which is being followed, and the quality is measured at and controlled at every aspect, and the traceability is given through the agri value chain model. If you see, so these are our value proposition and innovation which I have spoken. This is our technology, the QMM Food Trust and the global agri value chain. Now we have taken that and mapped into one use case, one business process in the fishing industry, which is this one. Okay, where we have put a sample blockchain of a use case where the catch and then the preservation, the transport and the point of sale. Now implementing the HACCP at every block to ensure the quality is managed, and showing the traceability through a QR code, traceability up to where it is, what is the origin and what is the date of the particular catch. Okay, is going to bring in confidence in the end of in the minds of the buyer, both in India as well as abroad, and definitely the price, the value, the selling price of this particular product, fishing end product, is definitely going to be higher, and the buyer is ready to pay any amount, okay, without having a second thought, so that the profit can be passed back till the fisherman or farmer. Okay. So these are our strengths, okay, where we have 14 food technologists and 2 microbiologists in our company. We have the 2 patents. We have already entered into the Middle East market through agriculture products, where the buyers there are paying, the MRP is higher than the other product because of the USP, which is the QR code which we are giving. And we are trying to go aggressive into other global market. The opportunity we have here is what we are talking now. This is also an opportunity, and the policy intervention to introduce digital technology in agriculture education. See, the global agri value chain, which we have, the platform, the blockchain platform. So we have developed that as a course, and we are getting the accreditation for a certification course, for a diploma course, and for a postgraduate diploma course. And we are working with different universities to include them, to have these courses there. And we are also bringing, we have developed a blueprint for smart tribal farming, for making the tribal farmers, okay, self-sustainable. For this is from the millet perspective. Definitely we can work together on the fishing aspect as well, where 100 tribal farmers, when with 100 acres of land, through precision farming, implementing precision farming, and through good agriculture practice, and setting up the basic primary processing centers in at their cluster, will make them get a profit of 12 to 20 lakhs per farmer per year. Okay, that is a sort of a business model which we are developing for the smart tribal farming. I'm pretty sure we can work together to have a similar business plan developed for the fishery industry also. Okay, so these are our customers who have implemented Food Trust and the global agri value chain. And this is our team. I think with the interest of time, so I am done. Thank you so much. Happy to take any questions.
Sir, unmute yourself. Moni sir, unmute yourself.
Very
So
much,
you're
Mr. Raman, for your presentation and talk, that the importance of how a quality component has to be added to get higher prices in the both national and international market, and what you have achieved as an IT expert, worked in MNCs, now getting into global agriculture value chain, and also working with food trust label is very important for the fisheries sector. Thank you very much. I think by having you with us in preparing the business plan is a very added advantage. So you have the technology, you have the traceability, and you can bring the desired opportunities to the cluster, primary fisher cooperative societies, or the the clusters, fish farming clusters, as very nicely said it by the Madam Nirjumoni. Thank you very much. Please stay with us. I think Mr. Raju Dev Varman is back. I would like to request Mr. Raju Dev Varman to talk to the audience, and over to you. You can be as brief as possible. Yes.
Thank you, sir, once again for the privilege. I'd like to share the presentation which I have downloaded. Kindly help me share it.
Achha, you have uploaded?
Yeah, it is already uploaded.
Okay.
Okay. So let me skip up some. In the meantime, I'd like to apologize for the inconvenient curse because of the heavy downpour here, the poor network connectivity. Well, let me be back. Fisheries sectors is also one of the most economic sector of the state, with fish being a stable and of high demand in our state. Let me also share something like of our state, like Tripura does not have any marine and brackish water resource, so we have to confine only in the inland fisheries, which is the only source of fish cultivation. With more than 95% of the population eating fish, the demand is huge. So now you can see at a glance serial number 6, where the demand of fish says nutrition demand as per World Health Organization at a rate of 18 kg per head per year, per capita, is 63,738 metric ton. And the demand of fish in Tripura at the rate of 25.30 kg per capita. And let me again remind that the state of Tripura love eating fish, so the consumption rate is too high at the rate of 25.30 kg per capita. So the total requirement comes here to 89,587.30 metric ton. We have a water bodies of culture fisheries, so it is already here 28,803.39 hectare, captured fisheries of 77,878.76 hectare. So this is the water bodies that we have in our state, but the production is for the culture fisheries is 74,400 and it is not that visible. Okay, I'm back. 74,434.85 metric ton, and for the captured fisheries is 2,568.24 metric ton. Now the productivity is again very less. For cultured fisheries is only 2,770 kg per hectare per year, and for the capture it is again too less. It is 326 kg per hectare per year. So the shortfall demand as per consumption rate, as I've already mentioned earlier, is 89,587.30 metric ton. Where I have already mentioned that the production of fish in our state is 77,003.09 metric ton. So there is again huge gap of fish requirement, that is 12,584.21 metric ton. So the gap per capita between the consumption rate and production comes to 3.56 kg. So the gap has been met. Now we can see that around 86% of the state fish requirement is met by the state-owned production, and the rest is imported from Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal, and Bangladesh. Fish farming mostly take place in own ponds of the fish farmers, leased ponds and lakes and stream of and rivers in the state. So now you can see in the serial number 11, the Fishery Cooperative Society of our state, Tripura. Total numbers, we have 308 numbers, and the total fishery-based self-help group is 632 numbers. Numbers of fishermen is 9,890 numbers, and Fishermen Cooperative Society that is registered with our state federation, that is called Tripura Apex Fishery Cooperative Society Limited, is only 57 numbers. MSS Limited. MSS Limited means Matsyajivi Samabhai Samiti Limited, which is locally called here in our state. So the total number of private fish farmer is at present 1,90,069 numbers. So there is a very big scope for pisciculture in our state for a fisheries sector. Tripura has been classified by Indian Council of Agricultural Research under agroclimate zone of humid eastern Himalayan region, that most of the state is under forest cover with only 75% of land available for agriculture and fishery activities. However, Tripura, being a small state, has 555 rural markets, 30 urban markets, and 20 regulated market of fish and agricultural commodities. However, the accessibility to these markets is limited, and in all 53% markets are accessible in all weather by road. So this is like something I like to keep it to remind that this is a part of the market and value chain in Tripura. So the Department of Agriculture is looking after the development of agriculture market, and the Department of Fisheries for the fishery market, while the respective panchayats look after the management of primary market and rural hearts. Now, if we go through the value changes in fisheries, value chain in fisheries sector is mostly unorganized, and there is no marketing department either to oversee the market related aspects in the fishery sector of the state. The fisheries cooperative society plays an important role in the value chain in fishery, who regulate the auctions of fish in major markets of the state, regulates price of fish in the markets to some extent, advocates for rights of fishermen, and help BPL fishermen to get benefit through government schemes and programs. Small and marginal fish farmers prefers to sell fish at farm gate to the middleman, who in turn sell it to wholesalers at generally 5% commission. The middleman auction the fishes, both local and imported, and distribute throughout the state. So this is the condition in our state. Large quantity of fish, as I've already mentioned earlier, is imported from Bangladesh through international trade agreements between India and Bangladesh. A major quantity consumed in the state also comes from West Bengal and Andhra Pradesh. Now, high value fish like giant fish prawn and hilsa is high, but production technology and marketing is yet to be perfected, which makes them very high price commodity in the state. Ornamental fish is also seeing increased demand in the state. There are many private pet stores that import and sell them at high price, but in very less quantity to serve the demand of the state. Now, major issue in value chain development in Tripura, as I've already shared earlier, an organized value chain system does not exist in Tripura yet. The state is yet to become self-sufficient in majority of the fishery product, and in such a condition, a focus of policy and extension is still on increased production and productivity. With marginal farmers dominating in holding water bodies and rural population dependent on subsidies, there are multiple factors that need to be taken into account before emphasizing on particular policy recommendation. Actually, these points have been shared by our Babu Iyer sir, and of course Satyanarayan sir and BK Mishra sir also. But then, like in the Tripura context, producer aggregates. So I would say that Fishery Department in the state has worked on creating producers aggregate in the form of self-help groups, producer organizations, producer association, farmer clubs, and many more. But nothing could stick so far. However, awareness still were executed by the department to sustain for any of the aggregates to hold together. Now, for the second point, poor infrastructure, that is the major issue in our state. Infrastructure is still a major issue in the state. Tripura is connected to the rest of the country through NH08 and through airway. But because of the high cost of transportation through airway, NH is practically the lifeline of the state for both import and export of fishery produce. During rainy season, every year, the highway becomes practically unstable, making trading a nightmare for few months every year. So for subsidy dependent rural population, for serial number 3, this is very interesting point, where initiatives in rural department in the state has been highly focused on giving subsidies and incentives to the rural families under various schemes and programs. In farming sector alone, under CSS as well as state plan, a major way of attracting farmer towards new technologies, various varieties, method, etc. Tripura being dominated by economically poor marginal producer, subsidy definitely works in attracting them towards technology, but unfortunately, the interest comes and goes along with the subsidy. There has been little to no initiative from the department to understand practical feasibility of the technology in local conditions, as major push comes from the central sector schemes. Number 4, entrepreneurship development. Entrepreneurship in fisheries sector is almost non-existent in the state, and so our effort to develop entrepreneurship. It has been opined by many of the official and fisheries stakeholders in the state that the young generations are more into government jobs rather than, I'm sorry to call this term, fisherypreneurship. And so their lack of interest is a major hurdle. And number 5, fishery marketing management. So there are no sector department looking after marketing in the line departments. Well, this is the scope of business in Tripura and what we are like doing in our state. Huge quantity of fishery imports were required by the fish farmer in the state, like fish feed, MOC, mustard oil cake, quicklime, medicine, probiotics, and many more fishery imports required for pisciculture activities. And huge quantity of ingredients were required for feed preparation unit. Well, there are some feed preparation unit in our state, but the price of the fish feed is very, very high because of the cost of ingredients available in the state. And number 3, if you go to, you see huge quantity of fishing materials is also required, both for fishing gears and fishing crabs. Huge quantity of dry fish for fish processing, like fermented fish product, is also required in the state. As I have already mentioned that we love taking fish in the state, not only in the fresh condition, but also in the dry form. Supply of various fishery-related materials like aerators, then for FRP hatcheries, biofloc, aquarium, and many more are also required in the state in a huge quantity. And now import for high-value fishes like giant prawn, hilsa, etc. So there is a big scope for business here. So there are many more points, but then I just like to skip up, and I've skipped up many points. So this is something I like to just share from my point, from my part. That is recommendation for value chain development and fishery in Tripura. So we need a planned production to restructuring of production. Focus is required in the state with special attention to major economically renewable fishery productive already identified by the department in each sector. And then entrepreneurship development, intensive awareness created, of course, that is creation by the fishery department. Given the current constraint in terms of infrastructure development, there is a higher scope in agro-based and fishery-based development in the state compared to industrial development. Now, market focus with policy support. The first step in development of market infrastructure in the state will be through policy support and plan focus. And for that, a dedicated marketing cell needs to be first priority of the state government to properly understand the production and marketing status and plan intervention based on the need of the sector. Collaborations and partnership, that is of course that is given here, and I've already shared earlier, and then we invite many investors for that. Then for infrastructure development, increasing production without market or processing facilities would just add to distress sale of high value species. So for the conclusion, I would say that Tripura has a vast opportunity of economic with large majority of its population depending on fish consumption. Economic development of the state largely depend on the economic condition of the sector and the farmers. This makes the fishery market and value chain an indispensable part in any strategy to develop the sector. Reforming fishery marketing will require policy and financial support from the public sector and innovation of the private sector. Exploring possibilities of PPP than entrepreneurship development, integrating ICT as we have already shared, and of course BK Mr. Sir have also shared regarding these related matters for better communication and a consumer-focused production needs the attention at the moment for establishing a strong value chain system in Tripura and making a positive impact on the economic condition of the state. So last but not the least, together with the Department of Fishery, let me sing that slogan: give a man a fish, he will eat it for a day. Teach him how to fish, and he will eat through his life. Thank you. Once again, thank you for giving me this privilege. Over to respected Professor M. Moni, sir. Sir, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Raju Dev Verma. And I was quite impressed by your talk, and also that the opportunities existing in the state of Tripura. And I am very happy that, and for the today's topic, Fisheries Informatics Network Value Chain Business Plan for Fisheries Cooperative to attract investors. And Mr. BK Mishra has, told me that I should invite Mr. Raju Lal Dev Verma, the executive officer from the Tripura Apex Fisheries Cooperative Federation, to participate in the program. And you made it. And it has given a lot of interest for us to work with you to prepare a business plan for a pilot cooperative society, fisherman cooperative society. And I think today the structure of this international webinar series on open source digital technology for self-reliant India, it has got a lot of important participants. The participants are from an international body, International Cooperative Alliance, Mr. Balasubramanian Iyer, and then Mr. P.K. Mishra, managing director. He is a veteran in the field, representing the National Fisheries Primary Fisher Cooperative Federation, which signed an MOU with the university to undertake skill and entrepreneurship development in the Fisheries Informatics Network value chain. And then we had the participation of Dr. Hema Yadav, Director, Vahund Mehta National Institute for Cooperative Management, and her student giving a very important presentation in the today's topic. And then we had presentation from Dr. Denasan Cheruvat, a very successful Kerala State Matsya Federation. And then we had brief presentation by Kundru Anil Babu and a detailed presentation by Nirju Moni Datta Barali and Robilal Dev Verma. And then how to take a product with the quality certification to the national and international body. That is a presentation by Mr. Satyanarayana Raman. And our interest from the Soviet Institute of Engineering Technology, we work with these 5 centers of excellence to bring in technology in the area of agricultural sector. This is the first university having Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies and Center for Agri-Business and Disaster Management Studies, and also worked with doubling farmers' income by 2022 committee, worked for 7 mission mode programs. Our interest is to skill, reskill, upskill the boys and girls from the rural area to get into agricultural sector through technology. Today topic is very important, and we need to have a business plan for fisheries cooperative to attract investors. And with all your support, thank you very much for your participation. And we had this session for 2 hours 44 minutes. It is a very important session, and I'm very much thankful for Mr. Balasubramanian. He's been participating and staying with us from the beginning, and then Dr. Hema Yadav, Mr. P.K. Mishra, and Mr. Satyanarayan Raman, Madam Nirju Mani, and Mr. Rajulal Dev Verma, and Mr. Dr. Dinesh Sherwat, and Kondru Anil Babu. But with all your support, let us prepare a business plan for fisheries cooperatives to attract investors. That is very important, with the international experience, national experience, and state level experience, and so that how to regenerate the 24,000 primary fisher cooperative societies, as it is very rightly said it, that some of them are not functional, but they are all institutions, as rightly said by the Secretary of Fisheries in his 22nd July national webinar, that we have to regenerate and how to institutionalize this institution with the technology. So thank you very much for your participation, and I have formed a separate WhatsApp group with all of you. Let us work together to prepare a business plan for Fisheries Cooperative Society to attract investors. And thank you very much for your participation. And on a Saturday, you took 3 hours to stay for a national cause. That itself shows that your national commitment, your personal commitment, your institutional commitment. Thank you very much. With this, I would like to thank every one of you, and let us work together.
Once again.
Well, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, ma'am and sir. Please.
Thank you. Just 1 minute. Please get your video on. Let me click a photograph of this, the final one. Mr. Nirjumani, Madam Nirjumani. Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. I think Mr. Mishraji, can you put a screen? I think Mr. Iyer has left. Can you join? Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With this, I thank all of you.
Bye-bye.
And I also thank Honorable Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, His Excellency, the Secretary General Ordo, and the participants and the key speakers for participating in this program. Thank you very much. Let us close the studio and close the webinar and leave the studio. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.